Back here with the green screen, just speaking off the cuff. On LinkedIn this week, there's been a big hullabaloo about whether or not you should read books, with Jeb Blunt throwing down the gauntlet saying you absolutely have to read books, and I agree with him. That was the subject of my Sunday newsletter that sparked him to comment on this and to share his very strong feelings. The question is, can you learn to sell from reading a book? And the answer is absolutely not. There's no way that you can learn to sell from reading a book. That being said, books can be very, very helpful to learning how to sell or how to learn to do anything else. And listen, knowing how to read and not reading is the same as not knowing how to read. And that would mean that you're illiterate. And can you imagine your life in sales if you were illiterate? If you literally couldn't read and you couldn't pick up new concepts and new ideas. So even though you can't learn to sell just by reading a book, it can be very, very helpful. And here's the thing, you're out and you're getting the experience that you need. You're learning because you're having the experiences, but can you imagine doing that without the concepts that you get from books? If you didn't have the concepts, if people weren't talking about the concepts, you wouldn't even know what they are. So you wouldn't know about value creation. You wouldn't know about a stakeholder analysis. You wouldn't know about building consensus because you would not have read or heard anything about it if you don't read books. You would never know anything about all of the concepts that are important for you to understand, so you would be in the terrain, but you'd have no map. You wouldn't understand what you were seeing, and you'd have to figure everything out for yourself. And there's no reason to figure everything out for yourself if other people have already done that before you. One of the fastest ways to gain competency is to go to somebody who's already competent, figure out what they believe, figure out what they do, and then start modeling it. Because if somebody has a model for success, the fastest way to steal that is to go and watch them, learn what they do, and then steal it. In a lot of cases, though, smart people who have a lot of experience codify it in a book. So even though you can't sit with the people that you want to sit with so that you can study them, you can pick up a book that they wrote. They took all of their ideas and they embedded it and codified it in this artifact that you can carry around with you. And for $25 and 6 hours of your time, it's like you spent hours and hours with that individual, like you're really in their brain and you get what they're thinking about and how they're thinking about it. $25 and 6 hours, there is not a greater deal on earth. You need to read books because you need to figure out what other people already know. And deciding that you have to learn everything on your own makes no sense at all. Experiential learning is critical, but you don't have to learn everything on your own because you don't even have the concepts. Can you imagine going into every sales call deciding I have to figure out what else I might try, I have to think of every idea myself, I have to identify all my choices on my own, and then when something doesn't work, I have no framework and no concept and no lens through which to look at that experience to figure out what I'm supposed to do different. It doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't want to do that, especially when somebody can tell you this is fire and it will burn you, don't touch it. You might want to learn that experientially, but you don't have to. And you can also find that people know this is the straightest, fastest way to success, and here's what works. There's no reason for you to wait to have that success if you can pick it up and read it in a book and apply it in your work now. So will books teach you how to sell? Absolutely not. Will they make you a hell of a lot better salesperson? 100%. Pick up a book, doesn't even have to be about sales. Pick up a book on leadership or management or success or productivity or hustling or whatever makes you happy. But pick up a book and shorten the learning curve. There's no reason to do anything different. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit subscribe. This is Everyday.